All right. All right. All right. Wait a second now. Wait a second. Listen. Brianna Stewart. Let's be real. We didn't even want you on the team. Hold on. Let's stop playing games, man. KTV, it's top of the morning. Brianna Stewart. Brianna Turner. We didn't even want you on the team. We didn't want nobody from the Connecticut Sun, okay? You came through, you did a solid job.
Listen to that tone. That's not just commentary. That's frustration boiling over. And he's saying what a lot of Fever fans are thinking but won't say out loud. Brianna Turner joined Indiana midseason from Connecticut, played solid minutes off the bench, and now she's making headlines for everything except basketball. The question is, does a role player get to be this vocal when the numbers tell a completely different story?
Trent, first of all, she's not a Fever star. Stop it. She was getting DNPs. She wasn't even playing. Like, stop playing games now. When people got hurt, she stepped in and she played hard. I respect that, but don't. She's not a star. Y'all can relax. Fever's star makes her unrivaled stance known.
There it is. The core issue laid bare. Unrivaled just posted viewership numbers that should terrify every investor involved. Opening day in 2025 pulled 300,000 viewers across TNT and True TV. Sounds decent until you see year 2, January 17th, 2025. The second season opener managed just 75,000 viewers. That's a 41% drop. But it gets worse. By January 9th, viewership cratered to 30, and those True TV exclusive games, 32,000 viewers. That's not a typo. 32,000 people watching a league that's supposed to represent the growth of women's basketball.
Keeping it simple. I truly enjoy watching women's basketball. I don't care if it's college, WNBA, EuroLeague, Unrivaled, Athletes Unlimited, etc. I'm tuning in whenever I get the chance. And that's cool. That's cool. Good for you. The people have spoken, and the people are not interested in seeing y'all play in Unrivaled. It is what it is. Okay, I'm interested in women's basketball. I watch WNBA. I tried watching Unrivaled. I just can't get into it. I'm sorry.
Now compare those numbers to the WNBA regular season average of nearly 1 million viewers across all networks during the 2024 season. The gap is staggering. And this is where the Caitlin Clark factor becomes impossible to ignore. Because when she's on the court, those million viewer averages become reality. When she's not involved, you get 32,000 people tuning in to watch 3-on-3 basketball. The league keeps talking about growth, keeps pointing to increased interest in women's basketball. But what they're really seeing is the Caitlin Clark effect, inflating numbers across the board.
Games drew lower numbers, averaging 32,000 viewers. That is awful. That's awful. 71,000 across the weekend is far less than the 2025 WNBA regular season playoff average of nearly 1 million across all networks. Man, the WNBA owners know they got so much leverage over y'all. They ain't even stunting y'all right now. The development of other leagues such as Project B is also a threat to Unrivaled in the coming years. Names like Kelsey Mitchell and Alyssa Thomas, players integral to the 3v3 tournament, have already...
Let's break down what's actually happening with Unrivaled. Brianna Stewart, co-founder of the league, recently addressed the ratings decline. Her explanation? Broadcasting slots and timing. She suggested that playing on different days and time slots was affecting viewership consistency. But that's a convenient excuse that ignores the fundamental problem. The WNBA plays games on different days and times too. College basketball has varying schedules. The difference is people actually want to watch those games. The format isn't connecting. 3-on-3 basketball, even with elite talent, isn't drawing casual viewers. And without Caitlin Clark's name attached, even hardcore women's basketball fans aren't prioritizing it.
Xfinity Mobile Arena this month, both of which are quite profitable. Per the league spokesperson, reports suggest that merchandise sales have increased by 50% and resale tickets for the Philadelphia stop have increased to $123. Therefore, Unrivaled CEO Alex Bizzell and co don't seem overly concerned about the league's sustainability, but frequent player opt-outs and poor viewership are the initial warning signs for league management. That's a fact, bro. Y'all can sit there and act like...
Here's what makes this particularly awkward for players like Brianna Turner, who are defending Unrivaled. The league is hemorrhaging viewers, while simultaneously losing talent to competing leagues. Kelsey Mitchell and Alyssa Thomas, Both integral players in the 3-on-3 format have already committed to Project B for the next offseason. Project B's schedule overlaps with Unrivaled, which means these players are making a choice. They're betting on a different league's future. Meanwhile, Turner and Ariel Atkins are participating in Athletes Unlimited, which starts February 4th. The offseason women's basketball landscape is fragmenting, and Unrivaled is losing ground despite being first to market.
I don't care about none of that. That's all cool. It's all good with me. We about basketball over here when you on Caitlin Clark team. You want to do all that other stuff, you got to go somewhere else. You got to go somewhere else, man. I'm not trying to play this game with y'all. Man. Ain't got time for this. Here it says, key founding member of Unrivaled hints at the reason behind decreased ratings. While the absence of stars like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese is pivotal in the decline in viewership, co-founder Brianna Stewart recently shared her perspective, emphasizing the league's timing and broadcast slots. Obviously, you want them to be consistently high.
Now, Unrivaled CEO Alex Borcel is putting on a brave face. He's pointing to merchandise sales being up 50% and resale tickets for the Philadelphia stop at Xfinity Mobile Arena hitting $123 on average. Opening weekend games sold out. Those are real positives, but here's the problem with relying on merchandise and ticket sales while ignoring viewership. Broadcasting deals are based on eyeballs. Advertisers pay for reach. If TNT and True TV are investing in broadcast rights and getting 32,000 viewers for exclusive games, that's not sustainable. You can sell out a 1,000 capacity arena and still fail as a professional sports league if nobody's watching on television.
In viewership, he is willing to bet on the growth in women's basketball, expressing his confidence in the idea. And while it's true that Unrivaled has shaken up women's landscape, to keep it sustainable, they will have to tackle more than just ratings. Everybody's talking about the growth of women's basketball, but women's basketball is not shown to do the numbers that don't involve Caitlin Clark. Do I think the game has grown for women? Absolutely. Do I think majority of it is Caitlin Clark? Yes. And if she's not a part of it, that growth might not reflect. Yes, I feel that way as well.
Let's talk about what this means for the WNBA's collective bargaining negotiations, because this is where Unrivaled struggles become leverage for team owners. The players opted out of the current CBA in 2004, hoping to negotiate better revenue sharing and higher salaries. Their argument was simple: women's basketball is growing. Viewership is up, we deserve a bigger piece of the pie. But when you create an alternative league to prove your market value and it immediately crashes in year 2, what negotiating power do you actually have? WNBA owners can point to these Unrivaled numbers and say, without our infrastructure, without our marketing, without our established fan base, this is what women's basketball draws. 32,000 viewers.
These are y'all real numbers. The Caitlin Clark inflation is not there for y'all right now. It's not there for y'all right now. She's not a part of it to make the numbers for everybody else look crazier than what they really are. Now you seeing the real y'all. So get down in the comments. Let me know what you think. This Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the channel.
And this is where Brianna Turner's comments become tone deaf. She posted on social media that she truly enjoys watching women's basketball, regardless of format. College, WNBA, EuroLeague, Unrivaled, Athletes Unlimited. That's admirable. But the people have spoken with their remotes and their streaming choices. They're not interested in 3-on-3 basketball during the off-season. Saying, I'm tuning in whenever I get the chance, doesn't change the fact that 268,000 fewer people are tuning in compared to last year's opening day. Personal preference doesn't override market reality.
Here we go. Unrivaled has taken a massive viewership hit in its second edition following a promising inaugural season. Built on a stronger player-first mindset and a quick pace 3v3 format, the tournament is facing empty seats after increasing its arena capacity to 1,000. Amid all the questions about whether the offseason league is sustainable, Indiana Fever star, she's not an Indiana Fever star, man, stop it, Brianna.
Here's what makes this situation particularly complicated for Indiana Fever fans. Turner came over from Connecticut mid-season and provided solid depth when the team needed it. She played hard, filled her role, earned respect, but now she's making headlines for defending a failing league and reportedly appearing in a commercial with Megan Rapinoe about trans athletes in women's sports. Whether you agree with that position or not, it's becoming a distraction. And when you're a role player, averaging single-digit minutes, you can't afford to be known for off-court controversies instead of on-court production. Stars can weather that. Role players can't. Let's examine the broader context here, because this isn't just about one player or one league. This is about the women's basketball ecosystem trying to figure out its actual market value without the Caitlin Clark inflation effect. WNBA's 2024 season was historic. Multiple games exceeded 1 million viewers. The playoffs drew massive audiences. Attendance records fell across the league, but strip away the games involving Caitlin Clark. And what are the baseline numbers? We're starting to see that answer now. Unrivaled is essentially a controlled experiment. Elite women's basketball talent, professional production values, major network backing, but no Caitlin Clark. The result? Viewership that barely registers compared to WNBA regular season games. This creates a massive problem for collective bargaining. The players want to negotiate as if the growth is permanent and universal. They want salaries and revenue sharing that reflects those 1 million viewer averages. But the owners know something the players don't want to acknowledge. Most of that growth is concentrated around one player. When she's not involved, you get unrivaled numbers. When she is involved, you get record-breaking viewership. That's not sustainable leverage for the entire player pool. Think about what this means for someone like Brianna Turner specifically. She's defending Unrivaled's viability while the numbers collapse. She's aligning herself with controversial political positions while being a role player on a team built around the league's biggest star. She's making noise when her production doesn't warrant headlines. And she's doing all of this while the Indiana Fever front office is evaluating which pieces to keep for next season. Does that sound like smart career management? The comparison to Ariel Atkins is instructive here. Atkins won a championship with the Liberty in 2024, played significant minutes throughout the playoffs, and earned her place as a respected veteran. If Atkins wants to play in Athletes, Unlimited, or defend Unrivaled, or speak out on social issues, she's earned that platform through performance. Turner hasn't. She was a mid-season addition who provided depth. That's valuable, but it's not the same as being a cornerstone player who can afford to be controversial. Now let's address the elephant in the room, the Caitlin Clark fanbase. These fans are passionate, engaged, and they drive viewership. They're also not interested in political agendas or social causes being attached to their basketball consumption. They want to watch elite basketball and support players who focus on the game. When a teammate of Caitlin Clark starts making headlines for everything except basketball, it creates tension. Not because the fans are intolerant, but because they're protective of the player they came to watch. They don't want distractions. They don't want controversy. They want winning basketball. This dynamic puts the Fever front office in an interesting position. Do you bring back a role player who provides solid minutes, but also generates off-court headlines? Do you risk alienating a portion of your fan base to keep depth on the roster? Or do you make a clean break and find someone who can provide similar production without the noise? It's not an easy decision, but it's one that gets easier when you consider the stakes. The Fever have the most valuable player in women's basketball. Everything else is secondary to maximizing her window. Let's also talk about what Breanna Stewart said about viewership timing and broadcast slots. She's right that consistency matters. She's right that playing on Friday versus Monday can affect who's available to watch. But that explanation falls apart when you look at the scale of the decline. You don't lose 41% of your audience between year 1 and year 2 because of scheduling. You lose that audience because they tried the product, decided it wasn't for them, and didn't come back. That's a content problem, not a distribution problem. The 3-on-3 format was supposed to be the solution. Faster pace, more scoring, less downtime. It sounds good on paper, but in practice, it removes the strategic elements that make basketball compelling. There's no defensive rotations to dissect. There's no offensive sets to analyze. It's just athletic talent in a condensed space. And apparently that's not enough to keep people watching. Even with players like Breanna Stewart, Nafisa Collier, and Arike Ogunbowale involved, the format isn't connecting with audiences. This brings us back to the fundamental question, what is women's basketball worth without Caitlin Clark? And the answer, based on Unrivaled's numbers, is significantly less than the players want to believe. That's not a criticism of the talent level. These are elite athletes, playing at the highest level, But talent alone doesn't create viewership. Star power does. Compelling narratives do. Generational players who transcend the sport do. And right now, women's basketball has one player who fits that description. Building a financial model around the assumption that growth will continue without her is foolish. So where does this leave Brianna Turner and players like her? It leaves them in a difficult spot. They want to support their peers and defend the leagues they're invested in. But the numbers don't lie. Unrivaled is struggling. The growth everyone keeps citing is concentrated around one player. And making headlines for off-court positions when you're a role player is a risky career move. The smart play would be to focus on basketball, improve your game, earn a bigger role, and then use that platform to speak on issues you care about. Instead, Turner is doing it backwards. And that's why the commentary you heard at the beginning resonates with so many Fever fans. The bottom line is this: the women's basketball ecosystem is going through a reckoning. The Caitlin Clark effect inflated numbers across the board in 2024, creating the illusion of universal growth. Now, as we see leagues and formats without her involvement, the real baseline is becoming clear, and it's lower than anyone wants to admit. That's going to affect CBA negotiation. That's going to affect expansion decisions. That's going to affect which players get second contracts and which ones get cut. Brianna Turner would be wise to recognize that reality and adjust accordingly. Because role players who create distractions don't last long in professional sports, regardless of how good their intentions might be. So here's the question for you. Should the Indiana Fever bring Brianna Turner back next season? Does her on-court production outweigh the off-court noise? Or is it time to find a role player who keeps the focus on basketball? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that subscribe button, and let's keep this conversation going, because this situation is only going to get more complicated as we get closer to the 2020.